Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty unique. It's a blog series called Album Quest, The Search for the Best Album of All Time.
Mm-hmm. By Greenstock.
Exactly. And it's not your typical review site.
Mm-hmm.
This is, well, the author calls it their personal World Cup of music.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The idea is Greenstock takes all their albums, mixes them up randomly into groups of 4,
Right.
then listens to each group a lot, over and over.
And then ranks them.
Ranks them 1 to 4. Top 2 go through to the next round. Bottom 2 are just out, eliminated. It's this really intense personal bracket system.
Definitely personal. And our goal today is really to unpack some of those takes, especially from the 5th part of this quest. Some of his views on what makes an album a classic are, well, surprising.
They really are. And what's great is how upfront Greenstock is about it. Admits they don't own every single album people call a classic. And, maybe more importantly, doesn't always rate those big, famous classics very highly, even if they do own them. It really hammers home that old saying, doesn't it? The gustibus non est disputandum.
There's no arguing about taste.
Exactly. You just can't argue taste. And this
Yeah.
whole quest kind of proves it, you know? It's all subjective.
So, okay, let's get into this 5th group then.
Yep.
The albums up were Don Henley's The End of Innocence,
Right.
Foreigner's Double Vision, Rainbow's Straight Between the Eyes, and Pet Shop Boys Vary. Quite a mix.
A very eclectic mix, yeah. And the winner of that group, Don Henley, The End of Innocence.
Which might raise a few eyebrows, maybe?
Perhaps. But Greenstock really liked its mix, you know, rock, pop, bit of country, praised the sort of melancholic feel overall, pointed out tracks like The Last Worthless Evening and especially New York Minute. Seems like the emotional feel of an album and how well it blends genres really matters to them.
Interesting. And then Foreigner's Double Vision came in 2nd, so it advanced too.
It did, yeah. Which Greenstock even says was a bit of a surprise to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, it wasn't about it being like a flawless album start to finish. It was more that even though it's older, tracks like Cold as Ice and Damage is Done are just really strong songs.
But to hold up.
Exactly. They
Right.
still hold up. That raw power, the catchiness, it just pushed it ahead of the others in that particular group. So maybe individual song strength carries a lot of weight, too.
Okay, so Double Vision gets through. But Rainbow's Straight Between the Eyes didn't make the cut.
Nope.
Even though Greenstock specifically mentioned Rainbow's track Stone Cold as being, you know, really good,
Yeah.
up there with the Foreigner stuff.
Right. That's a key point. Stone cold. Big thumbs up. But the rest of the album, Greenstock felt it was, quote, slightly lacking.
Ah,
So it kind of shows their thinking, right? One killer track isn't enough. The whole album needs a certain level of consistency, maybe, even if it's not perfect. It makes you wonder, can one amazing song make an entire album a classic if the rest is just okay? For Greenstock, seems like the answer is probably no.
which leaves the Pet Shop Boys Very. And this is where Greenstock really throws down a gauntlet, saying their career was basically over after they released Go West. Wow.
It's a very strong opinion, isn't it? A bold take, like you said.
Definitely.
And it's not even that they hate the song Go West itself necessarily. It's more this feeling that it marked a shift, a move from what Greenstock called pop magic towards pop irrelevance.
Ah,
Even giving credit to the album opener, Can You Forgive Her? They see Go West as this turning point where the band lost something artistically. It's less about charts, more about a specific idea of artistic integrity, maybe.
yeah, like a perceived change in direction they just didn't like.
Precisely. It really highlights how personal these judgments can be, how sensitive someone can be to shifts in an artist's sound.
So wrapping this up then, Greenstock's album quest. It's clearly not about finding some objective, universally agreed upon best album. It's a chronicle of personal discovery.
Yeah, driven by really strong opinions.
And a willingness to just ignore conventional wisdom, which is kind of cool.
It really is. And if you think about it more broadly, it just shows how much our own background, our experiences, our tastes, how much all that shapes how we connect with art, especially music.
Right.
There's no single ruler for greatness. What one person loves, another might just shrug at. It kind of pushes you to figure out what classic means for you.
That's a great point. It makes you think, okay, Greenstock is on this quest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Defining the best based on their rules. What if you, listening now, applied a similar kind of personal quest to your own music?
What hidden gems might pop up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What criteria, maybe ones you haven't even thought about, would make an album a true classic in your book? Forget the charts, forget the critics for a second. What makes it resonate deeply personally for you?